And welcome to the Rotary Club meeting for July 6th, I got to stop the share. There we go. For July 6th of 2022, first Rotary Club meeting of the year, of the Rotary year. And of course, the theme is Imagine Rotary. So that was very cool that we have a new Rotary president. We have a new Rotary governor. We don't have a new Rotary club president. That's unfortunate, but we do have a new Rotary president-elect, Steve Scott, and I'm pretty excited about that. I just came back from the district conference, and that was, it was hot. We did take away 3 awards as a club. First place for the food drive, 4.5 tons of food. I don't think anybody came close to raising 4.5 tons of food. That was a lot of food. And then a platinum. We kind of got, I'm going to say, cheated a little bit because we only got a silver award for membership because they cut the counting off on May 30th. But on May 18th, we doubled our size. We're now at 24 members. So in reality, we doubled in 2022, and that's pretty cool. And we're looking to double again this year. It was an excellent conference. So let's go around the room. I've introduced myself, Raymond Foster. Let's go first to our newest member. I see you with your headphones on, and I'm going to say Priyank, and you're going to correct me.
No, absolutely. First of all, thank you so much for that right pronunciation. So I go by Pri, but you can call me Priyank. That's my full name. I'm a local resident of St. Dimas. I used to live in Glendale before. I have 2 little daughters. One is 4-year-old. Second one is 1-year-old. You can probably hear her in the background. And I work for a technology company as a sales director. And as part of that role, I work with a lot of public sector entities within LA County, from Department of Public Health to Parks and Recs, all of them, 28 departments. So that's a brief, short introduction. And I'm so excited to be part of Rotary Club because my parents have been part of Rotary Club for many, many years. I have seen how Rotary's mission has literally transformed a lot of lives, be it Pulse Polio campaign in Asia, or the food drives which St. Dimas Rotary Club has been driving. In all aspects of society, Rotary Club has always helped in uplifting the way we live. So I'm so motivated to be part of the Rotary Club and contribute in whatever capacity I can. Thank you so much again for giving me this opportunity to join you.
Excellent. So we're going to, I know that on the 14th, we have our governor's visit in September. You are on vacation. Yes. We will induct you at the next club assembly. So don't worry about that. You'll get your nifty name badge and your certificate, and we're going to get you going in Rotary. I'm excited to have you. I'm excited to see a room filling up with people. That is awesome. Hey, let's go over and introduce ourselves now to David Gonzalez, my good friend from Destiny Masonic Lodge. Brother, how are you?
Afternoon, Orangeville. I'm doing very well. My first meeting. And as you know, I'm new to Rotary, so I'm looking forward to some good things to come in the future. So I'm glad to be here, and thank you for introducing me to Rotary, and looking forward to it. I live in Covina. I've lived here for over 40 years. Don't plan on going anywhere anytime soon anyway. So yeah, looking forward to it. Thank you.
Excellent. And down now, I'm going to go like Hollywood Squares. I'm going to go Glenn Johnson, the block. Hello, Glenn. Glenn is not
Good
only
morning.
one of our newest Satellite Club Rotary members, full Rotarian, but he has also been elected to the foundation board, the San Dimas Foundation, to represent the Satellite Rotary Club of Military Family Support. Introduce yourself, Glenn.
My name is Glenn Johnson. I am the secretary of San Dimas Masonic Lodge. So we've got Destiny and San Dimas here. Satellite Club, interested, seeing how things go.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And down to Jose. Jose, can you unmute yourself and say hello?
Yes, hello, how you guys doing? My name is Jose Seguero. I'm new to the Satellite Club. I did 10 years in the military Marines, so just being part of it and just helping military families is kind of just my way of kind of giving back those that helped me when I was overseas and all the good stuff that they did for us out there. So I'm very happy, motivated to be here, and just can't wait to be more of a part of it.
Excellent. So continuing around the scope, let's see, we're going to go around the spokes here. Now we got to go to old members, and I'm going to go in order of seniority. So newest would be Derek. Derek, you've only been a Rotarian for a couple of years.
That's it. Yes, and excited to be here. Wasn't able to go just because of work and vacations, but it's nice to see everyone and happy to be here.
Excellent. Casey, say hello.
I think I have Wallace beat.
You all right, Mike? Is that true? I know Steve and I talked you into
That
it.
is true.
right.
Yeah, Casey was here before I was. Yeah, sorry, I'm in the car. I pulled over, but yeah, I'm Mike Wallace. I'm president of Better Home Financial in San Dimas, past president of the club, involved in a lot of things, sheriff's boosters, chamber, all that sort of thing. But yeah, happy to be here. Excited to see everybody, and yeah, just happy to serve the community.
Awesome. And when we go over the calendar at the end, or actually Action 316 calendar, the car show is up there. The foundation trophy is going to be a fabulous. It's a guy who puts car parts together as trophies, and it's going to be one of a kind, unique, best wheels. And I still need a Rotarian to judge this car show on the 31st, but we'll get to that. Now we go to Casey.
I don't have Mike beat it much, so I'll take it when I can beat him at something. Anyway, I've been around for a few years as well, past president, serving in many capacities, a business coach in many different places, and serving to make the world a better place, and focused here in San Dimas with the Rotary. So glad to have you. Good to see you, Gary. Haven't seen you for a while.
Now, when we get to the fine master part, you are the fine master, but you're going to be the first one to find yourself today based on your weekend that you've had. So I'm not going to give it away, but I think that Casey, I hope it went off okay. Just shake your head. It went okay. He had, as a father, it is a milestone weekend. It could only be more of a milestone weekend in one respect, but it absolutely was. And we'll now go to Steve.
Hello, everybody. My name is Steve Scott. I am the current secretary of the club, past president, next president. It's become real now that it's basically a year away. I'm already sweating. I've been a Rotarian for a little over 13 years. I don't live in the city, but I am a state farm agent in San Dimas, and I'm really, really excited to see this Zoom room fill up. This is great work by you, Raymond, and welcome to everybody who's making it there for their first time.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Steve. I told you I'm going to hand you a club of 50 Rotarians, and you thought I was insane, but now you see that it is quite possible, is it not?
Yeah, those aren't mutually exclusive, though. My thoughts on your sanity have not changed.
Thank you very much. You know, now, before we go to our speaker, it's my pleasure to introduce to you our brand new assistant district governor. He hails from the Glendora Rotary. Is it Azusa or Glendora Rotary Club? I'm going to let him tell us about himself because I don't have his bio in front of you. Gary, welcome to our club, and thank you so much for your service at the district level.
I appreciate it, Raymond. Again, my name is Gary Boyer. I'm a member of the Glendora Rotary Club.
That's it.
And I'm going to be the assistant district governor this year. This is my second time around as this, so I know a number of you already, but for the new faces, welcome. But my job is basically to sort of be the liaison between the club and the district and try to keep you guys informed as much as possible as to a lot of the dates and the timelines and everything that's going on. I do have one idea I'm just going to throw out to everybody. Every year, the district wants us to do some sort of a group project or group social together. I've been in Rotary for coming up on 20 years now, and it's never happened. Every year we plan it, every year we think about it, we talk about it, and it never seems to happen. So what I challenged people to do the last time around, and I'm going to do it again, is if you could make a commitment to 3 times during the year. In our group are the Azusa, Glendora, San Dimas, and Laverne clubs. But if we could all just make a commitment to go dark 3 weeks and visit another club. So I'd love to welcome all of you to Glendora, and I'm sure Azusa and Laverne would as well. And I'm sure you would welcome them to come and visit you at one of your regular meetings. That gives us all a chance to get to know each other a little bit and do a little bit of socializing. So that's my bit. And Raymond has all my information. I look forward to working with you throughout the year.
Gary, I'll make this commitment to you. We have our calendar for the first half of the year through December is solid, but I will do the second half and include those 3 traveling Rotary Club visits as club meetings. So we'll put that in our calendar for the second half of our year.
I can't believe you're that organized. You have the first half scheduled out already. So I wish we did. But anyway, nope, I appreciate it. And we'll give it a shot and see if we can make it work.
Well, there you go, Gary. That's every date meeting, the speakers, everything. We're dialed in here with these 2 clubs. Otherwise, you couldn't run this thing. But you know what? Thank you so much again for your service. And we're looking forward to working with you as our district governor. And I will make that commitment. So, hey, let's go to our speaker. Keep this moving right along. Captain Bill Muckler, USMC, retired, was born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri. He graduated from Christian Brothers College High School and Army Junior ROTC School. He received a BA in psychology, personnel management from University of Missouri, Columbia. While at Mizzou, he spent 2 years in the Air Force ROTC. Upon graduation, Bill successfully completed the USMC Officers Candidate course in Quantico, Virginia, and was commissioned a 2nd lieutenant. He spent 4.5 years on active duty and 11 years as a ready reservist. He holds the permanent rank of captain and held a top secret security clearance. As an entrepreneur, Bill founded Muckler Typographic Corporation in St. Louis, Missouri. He was the owner and operator of that small business, which provided typography services for ad agencies, art studios, printers, and lithographers for 10 years. Bill has been a work process management professional for 40 years, and eventually as an owner and director of his consultancy. His firm assessed business operations, conducted management and leadership training, implemented process solutions as a problem solver in energy, mining, manufacturing, construction, fabrication, assembly, technology, food processing, healthcare, and communications at more than 300 locations. Now, here's the important part. Bill has 3 children, Angela, Krista, Christian, 5 grandchildren, 1 great-granddaughter. He lives in St. Louis, Columbia, Ferguson, and St. Charles in Missouri, Quantico, Virginia. He's also lived in Virginia, Conejo, Oahu, Hawaii, Panama City, Marco Island, St. Augustine, and Coca-Cola, Florida. He has worked in, visited, or traveled to 45 states, 11 countries, and numerous islands and many seas. Hey, Bill, welcome to the Rotary Club of San Dimas.
Hey, Ray, thank you so much. That's quite a bio. I need to cut that down a little bit. Actually, I'm living in Sebring, Florida right now, but the way you all found me is I'm the secretary of the Cape Canaveral chapter of the Military Officers Association of America, and we're the largest chapter in the United States. We've got more than 1,200 members, and the MOA, Military Officers Association of America, has about 375,000 members, and we're a military advocacy group for all veterans, and our members are from all the branches of the service, and I'm also on the Speakers Bureau of that. So somehow you guys decided you wanted to talk to a Marine, and I just wanted to make sure you saw that I got my Cape Canaveral shirt on with my name tag, wherever it is over here. And let me start off by saying, and I got the cap I'm going to talk about a little bit later. I was born in 1935, and the reason I say that was, it was, in my estimation, it's probably one of the best years to be born in, because the country is coming out of a recession or depression, so to say. And so I was lucky enough or fortunate enough and had the opportunity to go to 10 schools. And the whole time I was in school, in grade school, elementary school, we were in World War II, and in high school in the Korean War. And I graduated from high school in 1953, which in May of 53 was the month that the Korean conflict was over. So when I say I was born in 1935, that means I was fortunate enough to know about those two conflicts, but was not involved in them. So let me fast forward to 1941. In December of 41, I was 6 years old. And I remember the day that the Japanese Navy bombed Pearl Harbor, but I'm going to give you a little bit different take on that. So I was in St. Louis, Missouri. I was 6 years old, and all the neighbors came out, and they were outside talking and wondering what was happening. Are we at war? Are we going to be bombed? Where's Pearl Harbor? You know, the Japanese attacking us today or tomorrow. Nobody knew what was happening, and nobody knew where Pearl Harbor was. And I had convinced my mom at an early age that I wanted to have this big map put on the wall. And so they put it on the hallway outside my bedroom. And I had this map, and I used to study this map and think, boy, I would love to go to all these places, you know. So I knew where Pearl Harbor was. And I said, Pearl Harbor's in the middle of the Pacific, and it's in Hawaii. And most of the guys there said, oh, dumb kid, you know, what does he know? And one of the ladies, I guess, really, one of the wives really laid into him and said, you guys don't know much, you know, blankety blank, shut up and listen to this kid. He knows what he's talking about. So that was my first, I guess, way of learning about Pearl Harbor, and that we were attacked there. Now, when Ray was telling you about the fact that I was in the United States Marine Corps, in June of 1959, 18 years later, I sailed into Pearl Harbor for the first time and got off the ship, and I was assigned to the Marine Corps Air Station at Kaneohe Bay. Now, back in 1941, everyone thinks, okay, Pearl Harbor was bombed, but that was not the mission of the Japanese Navy. The Japanese Navy's mission was to destroy all the air bases on the Hawaiian Islands. And the reason for that was the Japanese had taken over like about 2/3 of the Pacific Ocean, and in Pearl Harbor or the Hawaiian Islands was the only place where we were doing reconnaissance. We were sending PBY aircraft on reconnaissance missions to patrol the Pacific Ocean. So the Japanese wanted to stop that. So that was the reason for the attack on the Hawaiian Islands. Now, also simultaneously at that time, the Japanese attacked Hong Kong and Malaya, the Philippines and Guam, Wake Island and Midway Island, along with the Hawaiian Islands. So when the Japanese Navy attacked the Hawaiian Islands, the first actually attack was on the Wheeler Army Air Corps base, but there wasn't really much damage to that. And it was on the north side of the islands. If you've ever been to Hawaii, on Oahu, there's a Pali Island range that runs the length of the island. So over on the north side of the island was the Kaneohe Bay Naval Air Station. And that was really the first place that was really under heavy attack. And that attack started 7:52 a.m. and on that Sunday morning. And the first casualty for World War II was an ensign, Navy ensign, who happened to have it was a junior guy, had the midnight shift duty. So he was on duty from midnight until 8 o'clock in the morning, 8 minutes before his shift was over. He was supervising putting installing fuel cells on PBY aircraft that are on the runway. And he was killed at that time. His name was Ensign Rodney Foss. So he was the first person killed in World War II. Now, also at that time, there was radar on the islands, and they picked up the Japanese Navy Japanese aircraft that were coming off the Navy aircraft carriers, but they didn't know what it was because they'd never seen anything like it. So they didn't know if it was a weather storm, if it was birds, or if it was a late arriving flight of B-17s from the West Coast. So anyway, they didn't pay much attention to it. It was an early Sunday morning. Nobody was at war. And so the Kaneohe Bay Naval Air Station was attacked. But simultaneously then, 8 minutes later, Pearl Harbor was attacked. And there were actually 3 bases there. The Hickam Airfield, Hickam Army Airfield, was there, the Naval Air Station at Pearl Harbor, and the Marine Corps Air Station at Eva, which is just west of Pearl Harbor. So all 5 of those bases were attacked. Now, here I am, I'm sailing into Pearl Harbor 18 years later, and I'm assigned to the Marine Corps Air Station at Kaneohe Bay because the Navy had turned it over from a Naval Air Station to the Marine Corps Air Station, and they took the Eva base and made that Barbers Point Naval Air Station. So a lot of things are happening at that time. So when I got there, Hawaii was still a territory. So I was actually assigned overseas duty, and I was assigned to the Marine Corps Marine Air Control Squadron 2, which was the radar eyes for the islands in conjunction with the Hawaiian Air National Guard. So actually, I ended up being that dumb kid who knew where Pearl Harbor was, being on the Hawaiian Islands and being a senior air director in an air control squadron that was actually watching the radar skies for enemy aircraft from 1959 to 1962. So that's kind of my story of Hawaii and Pearl Harbor. I ended up sailing in and out of Pearl Harbor 7 different times. At that time in the Marine Corps, we didn't go by airplane. We did everything by ship. In fact, when we went to Vietnam in 1961, it took us 21 days to get there on a LSD. I see some heads shaking there and nodding. You've been there, done that, right, Jose?
Yes, sir. I remember I was a part of the 13th MEU in 2007. So I know just the ship life I know how long it takes. I know how horrible it is, but it was fun.
Yeah.
No regrets.
Anyway, so in 1958, January of 58, I guess I was accepted into the Marine Corps Officers Candidate course. And when I got there, I report in, and anybody that's been in the Marine Corps knows that, you go through boot camp first. Well, boot camp is typically San Diego or Paris Island, but for officers, we go to Quantico, so we're living high on the hog in Quantico. But it's the same 12 weeks, it's the same grueling test. And of the 48 that I started out with, only 33 of us graduated. Well, what happened was when I got there, the first day I was there, I looked and I saw a familiar face, and there was a guy there that I actually met in September 1953. His name was Dave Vest. And we were both freshmen at the University of Missouri. We ended up in different fraternities, but we were good friends. And somehow we just bonded together, and we used to hang out together and so forth while we were in college. We graduated. Neither one of us knew where the other one went. So here's Dave Vest is in the same squad, the same platoon, the same company that I'm at, just 2 bunks away from me in the officers candidate course, except that David signed up to go through the Marine Corps flight program where I was in infantry. Now, for all you wondering about the Marine Corps, we typically have 3 divisions and 3 air wings. That's kind of the typical peacetime Marine Corps. And each division has 3 regiments. Each regiment has 3 battalions, and the air wings have 3 air groups and 3 squadrons in each one. So Dave is going to Pensacola to go to the flight school because Marine pilots are naval aviators, and they go through Pensacola. So while we're at Quantico, our DI knows that Dave Vest and Muckler are good buddies, and we both were from Missouri and everything. They got that figured out. So every time we'd be on the drill field and there would be an aircraft fly over, he would halt us and he'd look up at the sky and he'd say, "Muckler, I think that's your buddy Vest up there." And I would look up and I'd say, "Yes, sir." He said, "Where's Vest going?" "Well, he's going to Pensacola, sir." "Ah, why is he going there?" I said, "He's going to flight school, sir." "Oh, he doesn't like us in the infantry." So, you know, we would go through this banner all the time of Dave Vest and I. So we really got to be close friends. I guess we were best friends. And Dave stayed in the Marine Corps, and he passed away in August of 2018. So just about 4 years ago. And I inherited some of his things, like a few of his caps. And this is a cap from the squadron that he was a commanding officer of as a lieutenant colonel, the Marine Fighter Squadron 531, the Gray Ghost. So I received, and I inherited some of these things. I talked at his funeral. Dave was living in Pensacola, and he actually passed away while he was living in Pensacola, was buried there. And I drove up there from Cape Canaveral. I was living at Cape Canaveral at the time, and spoke at his service. And so I got to really know Dave very well. And I just wanted to bring something up about him, because this is something that's really maybe not in the news, but kind of in our culture now, is Top Gun. Dave Vest was the first Marine Corps fighter pilot, first Marine pilot to fly with the Navy in Top Gun way back in the 1960s. He was also named the Marine Aviator of the Year, and also his squadron was that he was a commanding officer of, was the Marine Squadron of the Year. So I was really proud to know him and know the first guy. So now you know, you've seen the cap of the first guy that flew in Top Gun for the Marine Corps. So when we see these, you know, Tom Cruise and all these guys, Val Kilmer doing all the stuff they do in the Top Gun movie, my buddy Dave Vest was one of those guys doing that too. And I would imagine he was just like he was when he and I used to get ourselves into some kind of, I won't go there, but I guess we had some good times together, right? Now, let me go back to December of 1941. I told you about the Japanese attacking all these various places, Japanese Navy, but the Japanese Army was occupying and taking over the country of China, and they had taken over, and they had several, I guess, quite a few army divisions there and taken over most of the land. And so the international community in China at that time was told to evacuate. So in November of, late November of 1941, the 4th Marine Regiment, which was known as the China Marines, had been in China since 1927, were ordered to evacuate China from Shanghai, which was at that time the pretty much the, I guess, the commercial or industrial capital of China. Peking, now Beijing, was the political capital. So the Marines were involved in the evacuation of China, the international community, and everybody got out except for 203 Marines who were in the northern part, and they were scheduled to leave on December 10th. On December 7th, when the Japanese Navy attacked all the various locations in the Pacific, the Japanese Army captured those 203. Actually, it was 203 Marines. 14 of them were Navy corpsmen or Navy Medical Corps. So they were taken and placed into slave labor for the duration of World War II, all the way up until August of 1945. So the 4th Marine Regiment sailed out on 2 Navy ships, and they went to the Philippines, and they were stationed on Corregidor. And on Corregidor, this group, the Marine Regiment, which had at that time maybe about 1,500 Marines, were overrun by 3 divisions of the Japanese Army, and they were taken prisoner and put into slave labor as well for the duration of the war. Now, the reason I bring that up is when I got to Kaneohe Bay Marine Corps Air Station, I was the unit there was the 1st Marine Brigade, which was the 4th Marine Regiment, the China Marines, and Marine Air Group 13. So I was actually, another connection there to 1941 was I was now with the China Marines, the 4th Marine Regiment, which was quite a storied regiment, like a lot of the Marine regiments are. So that's pretty much what my time in the Marine Corps was. And I don't know, Ray, how am I doing on time? Have I used up my 20 minutes, or can I talk some more?
Well, you've got about 5 minutes left. I'd like to hear an elevator pitch on your book, 2020, A Clear Vision for America. Why don't you give us 5 minutes on that?
Okay. I've written 2 books. One is 2020, A Clear Vision for America, and the other one is, the newest one is 2020, A Clear Vision for our future. And in there, I talk about America because I guess I was sort of an America First guy before America First became popular over the last 5 years or so. And I don't want to get into politics or anything like that, because I don't really like any of them too much. I don't think any of them are really looking out for those of us that are out here paying their wages. But anyway, let me read you something. I think you'll find this interesting, because people always ask me to read something from my book. So I'm gonna try and read this if I can. And this is a quote, that all men are by nature equally free and independent, and have certain inherent rights, of which when they enter into a state of society, they cannot by any compact deprive or divest their posterity, namely the enjoyment of life and liberty, with the means of acquiring and possessing property, and pursuing and obtaining happiness and safety. Now, I'm bringing this up because we just had 4th of July was on Monday of this week. And this sounds vaguely familiar, or somewhat familiar, like the Declaration of Independence. But what it really is, it was the Declaration of Independence that was written by the Virginia legislature in June of 1776, of which a young 33-year-old lawyer by the name of Thomas Jefferson was part of that legislature. So when you think of that, it sounds like it was almost, if he had the technology we have today, it was like a copy and paste job to write our Declaration of Independence, because they pretty much copied what was the Virginia legislature wrote a month earlier into the Declaration of Independence. The one thing that was different was acquiring property. And they decided not to put that in the Declaration of Independence and left that out. So as pursuing life, liberty, and happiness. And but really, when we think about it, and this is what I write about, or one of the things I write about, is one of our most important and basic right is our right of ownership, because what we do is we own ourselves. We own our time and our talent and our mental faculties. So if you think about it, we have to own our rights, and the rights were given to us. They weren't by our creator, not by the government, because the people who give you rights can take rights away. So if our rights were granted to us by the government, that means the government could take them away from us. And I think we're seeing some evidence of that today, and that some of our rights are being eroded or are slowly diluted or taken away from us. So what I tried to portray in my book was we have this right of ownership, and we actually own more than just our houses or our cars. Actually, I guess the banks own them too, don't they? But we own our time and our talent and our toil. So, you know, as those are things that are really important to us. We have to own our rights as well. So like in the Constitution, for example, the Constitution was really written to protect us from the government. Now the government's trying to convince us that the Constitution was meant to protect the government from us, we the people. And so things have kind of gotten backwards and turned around. And so I talk about restoring American exceptionalism, or making America first again, because if America is not a strong country, then we can't really help anybody else. You know, that's our destiny, is to be a strong country that can help help the rest of the world. If we can't even help ourselves, we can't help anybody else. So I really get into writing about the history of the Constitution. The entire Constitution's in the book. And I've done a lot of research, thousands of hours, of which I've never received a penny for. And I wouldn't want any, because this country has given me the opportunity to be able to be here and talk to people like you all. I'm in Florida, you're in California. This is a great country, and we need to keep it that way. And we need to make sure that we can keep our culture and our Constitution the way it was originally designed, and not the way in some of the directions it's heading into today.
Thank you. Hey, Bill. So thank you so much so far with your bits about the Marine Corps and how it is interwoven with your life was fascinating, and also your book. Let's open it up for questions. So we've got a few minutes here for a couple of questions. Anybody? Oh, no. Well, I'll tell you what, Bill, I served, I was in the Coast Guard for 6 years, and 6 months, my last 6 months, because they had run out of billets for radio operators, they put me on an LST. So I was on an LST for 6 months, and even if you're driving the boat, it's no fun. So I sympathize with you guys that are down in the hold with 13 other sweaty bodies.
When I've been on 3 different LSTs. When we went to Vietnam, we went on an LSD. The LSD 16 to Cabildo, and of course you can only sail as fast as the slowest ship, so that's why it took us 21 days to get there. Some of those LSDs were pretty worn out from World War II time. And yeah, and there were more than 13 of us down below. Jose knows about, right? Man, they packed us in down below, and then the LSTs. What was it like? The bunks were like, the racks were like 6 high, and they were right next to each other, just rack after rack, just down in a hole. No lights or anything, no ventilation. I mean, you're just down there in the dark.
There were 1,300 in the one hole that I went down into. So again, thank you very much, Bill. We've got to move over to our fine master because it's our first fine of the day or of the year, the first fine of the Rotary year. And the fine master is going to start off by fining himself.
Well, I'll start by explaining the fine time. And the way that we do fines around here is we talk about what's fine. So you can say, this is fine. You can talk about somebody else being fine. That can be a compliment of their looks, their attitude, their opinion, or just their showing up at Rotary. Or you can talk about things that are not fine. You are going to fine, charge yourself to talk. It's basically buy your time. So I'm fine, you're fine, it's not fine, and we fondly tell you if you're going to take number 3 and complain, charge yourself double. Other than that, that's how it works. That's how we fine. Raymond's addressing the excuse me, the fact that I'm fine. I had a massive weekend. My oldest son got married. Raymond was very up to speed on it all because his grandson was a part of the wedding party. So it was fun to have that go together, their co-workers together. So that's good stuff. Overall, that's my eldest son and first one married off, and had a great weekend. The irony about our fines is I got no money left. So I'm going to fine myself $5 because I'm fine and I got no other money to give to anybody else. It's all been spent.
You know, I don't want to hear it. I had 3 daughters, okay, and that's a way bigger expense than getting the boys married off. The boys were a lot cheaper, so no slack. $5 doesn't cut it, but I guess we got to let you slide. Who else is going to find themselves?
I'll find
I will
myself.
find myself.
Oh,
Go
I
ahead,
guess I'll
Derek.
go. I like to find myself $20 to pitch in for Casey's fine. Just want to celebrate with him for that amazing moment. So I'd like to pitch in $20 as well.
I'm going to have to double my fine to 10 because that means Derek didn't spend enough money on his vacation to Hawaii. But welcome back, Derek.
Steve, you were going to find yourself, I believe.
I am. Barring weather and flight disaster, I am leaving tomorrow for a trip to Pinehurst, North Carolina to play 8 rounds of golf in 5 days. And I think that's worthy of a $10 fine.
Wow, $10. Well, only because you find yourself so big over the district conference thing, I'm gonna let that slide.
Yeah, thanks for that, Casey.
For those of you who don't know, because he begged off a district conference, Steve was fined $600, which he paid, by the way.
And didn't even get to go on the trip.
No, and yeah, as a matter of fact, didn't get to go on the trip he was going to cancel us for. So it said like air. Any other fines there, Mr. Fine Master? Anybody want to pick?
Steve, part of your $600, you didn't get to complain about not going to conference. Would you like to complain about not being at conference?
No, we just had a lovely trip planned, and then my wife decided to get COVID. So we spent the anniversary weekend quarantined at our home.
It does make conference look good.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, it's not as actually. I would rather have COVID than go to Pets again, but I've only been 4 times. So,
Well, that's our fun. That is our fine time, and it's a fine time to be together, guys. Anybody wants to find themselves, we're happy to put the money to good use. That's what the fines are all about. New members to the Rotary, your fines are actually part of what you agree to be as a part of a Rotarian. So we're not charging you anything. It's just when you want to speak and use this fine time to share what's going on in your life, it's already part of your agreement.
Okay, well, we're going to move on, keep this on course. And we're down to Action 360. We talk about what we have going on. As you know, we still have the raffle going on, the $10,000 diamond ring, $5 tickets. Each of you should have 100 tickets, which you should be selling. That makes our budget for the year. I know that Pre doesn't have his tickets yet, but we're going to get together and get those to him. We also have the car show coming up on 7/31. Now, our club arranged for a Huey helicopter that was configured during the Vietnam conflict as a medevac copter. It was not flown for medevac missions. It was flown for training, and it accompanied by 4 or 5 veterans who flew on those missions in Vietnam. It'll be a complete static display at the car show on the 31st. And I believe they anticipate about 300 cars. And we have a booth at that car show. So I need people to work the booth. We're also part of the trophy. And so I need somebody to judge the cars. So, send me an email. I need some volunteers. 2026 committee will be meeting again in September. That is the committee that was formed to organize, plan, fundraise, and execute the 250th celebration of the Declaration of Independence here in our city in 2026. We are officially through the city, the organizing entity. The next committee meeting will be in September. Again, if you're interested in participating in that, let me know. Satellite club meeting. Now, I know that your secretary put out a meeting. They'll be on the 1st and 3rd Wednesday evenings, beginning at 6 p.m. That'll be an in-person at High Point Brewery. For club members and for satellite club members, both meetings are appropriate to go to. Different things will be done at those meetings. As Dominic and I are going out next week to different Rotary clubs so that he gets a flavor of how to run a meeting. Normally, somebody who is elected president or chair of a club, they're at least in Rotary for a year, hopefully, and they know what's going on more or less. Dominic's really hitting the ground running, but he needs a lot of support, so we're doing that for him. The USMC benefit dinner committee, tickets are for sale. That is on November 10th. That supports Making Spirits Bright, which is the buying Christmas gifts for enlisted Marine Corps personnel at 29 Palms and Pendleton. It also supports the Armed Services YMCA at 29 Palms and the Southland Young Marines. Tickets are $50. I have them. We've sold just over 50 tickets, and that's pretty cool for an event that is more than 3 or 4 months away. The fashion show committee met. That was excellent. We have settled on a date and a location pretty much. There'll be another committee meeting. That is the fashion show that Dimas heading up. And the idea will be to fundraise for House of Ruth, the domestic violence shelter, locally. Lastly, on all of this, there's one more thing. Okay, let's go over to calendar. Okay, so the calendar next week is going to be Jacob Knepp on inclusive space training. And that is also the first evening that High Point Brewery, where the SAT Club will have their meeting also. Their speaker is TBA. We're still working on it. July 22nd, if you're interested in the fashion show, Starbucks is downtown San Dimas. On July 27th, we will be meeting with the Chamber. That is considered a Rotary meeting at the Chamber luncheon. The location, as soon as I have that, I will get that out to you. By the way, next Wednesday is a board meeting. Even though you're not a board member, I encourage you to come to the board meeting at noon, see what we're going on, give us your input on what you think we should be doing. And then if you'll see down the car show in the beginning of August, our first speaker is a great speaker. Ferry there, if you'll remember the Anselon Theater shooting in Paris, where 90 people were killed in the theater. It was the 4 simultaneous terrorist attacks on Paris. I believe it was 2015. Ferry is a survivor of that. And what he did in his search to understand what happened, he befriended one of the terrorist families, and he got an idea of how a young man was co-opted and converted to that kind of radicalism. So he's got a really interesting conversation. That's the calendar. Okay. Now we go on to the 4-way test. Mike, I know, are you driving, Mike? You are, aren't you?
I am, yeah.
No, don't worry about it. Before we do the four-way test, hey, I want to make sure we introduce our friend Davidson, who's shown up from the Rotary Club of Kenya. Hey, wave and say hello to everybody, Davidson.
Hello, fellow Rotarians. Yeah, yes, my name is Davidson Ahonya. I'm a former president of the Rotary Club of Bungoma Elgon in District 9212. This is Kenya, East Africa. I'm a friend to the Rotary Club of San Dimas. Occasionally, I come in to attend some of your fellowship meetings, and you'll forgive and bear with my poor internet connection. It keeps fluctuating. So sometimes I'm on, sometimes I'm off. Yeah, glad joining you tonight. It's about 10 p.m. for us here in East Africa. Thank you.
Thank you. That's one of the reasons we've stayed in E-Club, is that we have people popping in from all around the world. And we really appreciate you being here and you being a Rotarian in Kenya. And we haven't forgotten about you. And so we're still talking about it. It is a big do for us. So we're still working on it. Okay. Before we go to the four-way test, anybody have anything they want to bring up? Okay.
Just real quick, Raymond, sorry. The trophy for the car show, the Rotary Award, are we like designing, paying for, bringing that award, or are we sponsoring a trophy through the car show?
No, we budgeted in the foundation budget $200 to have a trophy designed, and
Okay.
it will have the Rotary emblem on it. It'll say the Rotary Club of San Dimas, and the title of it is the Builders. No, it's Wheels, Best Wheels, because Rotary is a wheel. So
Okay, so we are doing that on our own. Then it's not something that the Boosters Club has to put together.
No, the Boosters knows about it because I discussed it with the chair and also with a couple of committee members. The same with the Masonic Lodge. They did the same kind of, it's a special build trophy. These are going to be fabulous trophies, by the way. And the Lodge trophy, I believe, is called the Builders Trophy because of Masons. The connection for us is wheels. I still need somebody to judge, though. That's going to be one of the draws for our booth out there, is that trophy. The other thing I'm working on for that, I guess that he's popped off. Derek's popped off. We're working on something else to draw to that booth, but I need helpers.
Okay, I'll be there, but I'm volunteering already. I'm working the beer booth.
Can you be our car judge?
Yeah, I can get somebody to take over the beer, and I can do a lap and judge. Sure.
Okay. So now I need people to work the booth or somebody to work with Mike as a second judge. But send me emails at 7:31. What's the runtime for that, Mike, since you're intimately involved through the boosters?
Technically, it's 9 to 3. The awards usually start going around 2 o'clock. And the cars start lining up at 5 a.m. But yeah, open to the public. The event runtime is officially 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
How many cars they anticipate?
In the past, it's been anywhere from 200 to 230. We cap it at 230. And yeah, we're definitely still looking for cars, though. We're not full yet. It's what 3-4 weeks away. So if you know anybody with a classic car that wants to bring it out, they can register on the website, or they can just contact me and I can get them registered.
Excellent. Okay. Any other questions about the calendar or the car show? I know for the new people, it's a lot to absorb. A lot of this stuff for us as Rotarians is stuff we do traditionally all the time. You know who's popped in is Sylvia, Rotary member, newer. You're not the newest in our club. I think Pre's got that got you beat. What's going on with the chamber, though? The chamber CEO, you got 1 minute.
Oh, thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Sylvia. I'm the CEO of San Dimas Chamber of Commerce. Thank you so much for having me. Sorry it was delayed, but we have a lot of good events coming up. We have a bunch of ribbon cuttings on our calendar and a lot of community events. We have one in particular that's coming up. It's on Saturday, August the 6th from 5 to 9. It's the San Dimas City barbecue birthday celebration. That's the old name. So it's the San Dimas birthday celebration. We invite all the community to come out. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have a lot of live music, food trucks, a lot of kids activities. So we want to encourage the public to attend. It's free to anyone. So make sure to join us. And that's pretty much else. Any other events, you can locate them at sandimaschamber.com. Excellent.
And for the SAT Club members, or the Rotary Club paid for you to have a booth at the birthday barbecue. I know your secretary is going to be working at, that's one place you can sell raffle tickets, but also you've seen that brochure that I sent out for you to look at. That's gone to the graphic designers to have it perfected. I will send it back out to you guys again. Anything you want to be changed, that's one of the things we're going to use for recruitment and also for fundraising is that brochure. So take a hard look at it. Anything else before we go to the 4-way test? Awesome. So this is something that will be done in every Rotary Club that you attend. It is the 4-way test. It is adopted as an ethical test by Rotary International. In our club, it's a little different. We haven't done this yet, but we will begin at our next meeting. Generally, we ask somebody to tell us how the 4-way test, what is meant to them in their life and how they've used it in their business. Other clubs that you go to, they'll simply recite it. Today, I'm going to make you familiar with it by showing it to you and also reciting it to you. You'll see it's the 4-way test because it has 4 parts, and they are: is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And so we say, of all the things we say and do, does it pass this test? And you may be called upon to tell us how that impacts you and what you think about it. So that's it. That is the Rotary Club meeting for July 6th, first one of the year. Thank you very much. Looking forward to seeing everybody at the board meeting next week. We've got lots of stuff to work on.